Hello everybody and welcome to MotoGP here at the Bud International Circuit, where we have a special session going out on the track right now, a 15-minute free practice session. I know you're all tuning in expecting to see the Tissot sprint, but we've had severe rain here in India, which means we've had a exceptional practice session. This is a free practice. It's 15 minutes long, and it's only because, one, we've never been to this track before, and two, this version of the circuit as well has been causing riders to brake late, go straight on at certain corners, have loads of issues. And because it's wet, the last thing we want to do is send the riders out there in dangerous conditions. Saying that, that was 2 hours ago. Right now, live, with the session underway, the track is actually drying quite quickly. So they're going out there on wet tyres on a drying track, and they're going to do half the session of this 15 minutes. Half of it's going to be on with the hard stack there, sorry. Half of it's going to be on with wet tyres, half of it's going to be on dry tyres. Sorry, YouTube buffered and it just sent me a little bit of a thing with my thing because we're live for MotoGP and not often it works. If you're wondering why it's not titled the same, is we're trying to find a little loophole with things to just be nice and play nice with things. So yes, that's basically what we're doing. But anyway, the free practice session is underway. We'll then go into a procedure. This is a 15-minute session, and then there'll be a 15-minute break, and then the action will get underway for the Tissot sprint, which will be 11 laps long. So it's unusual. We've had qualifying. Now we go into a practice, basically a warm-up session for tomorrow. But that's how it's working. That's how it's going, and it's going to be, fingers crossed, quite good. It is a free practice session, so the times don't count for anything, and the times that you're seeing on the board as well don't really mean that much. But you can see the layout of this track, and you can understand why they're having to do this, why they're having to go forward and get some systems out there, because the circuit is very unique. It's a long turn one, very tight right-hander into a left, then back into a tight right at turn 3. Then it's a long straight that opens up into a hard braking zone at 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a different layout. You can see on the screen directly below me here. It's a different version, it's a different layout, so it just takes a little bit of time to get everything up there and get everything working. So, yeah, just smoothing it out, seeing how it goes, and then we'll be underway for the Tissot sprint. Bagnaia is on a lap time now as well from Zarco Bradl Marini, as you can see on the control deck. Alex Marquez has been ruled out of this race as well after crashing in qualifying a couple of hours ago. He has a two broken ribs, so he'll take no further part in this action, which is, it's sad but extremely understandable with what's happening with him at the moment. So we send him our best and hope he is okay going forward, and hope he will be okay as well to close in on everything. A load of bots coming in right now in the chat on Twitch, so we'll just deal with those. So it's an acclimatization session. It's an exception of the rules that can be sort of slotted in, just to make sure everyone's set up for wet tyre running and everything. But it looks like they're going to do half of it on dry, half of it on wet, just to see what the conditions are like, just to see how they can, well, not really cheat the system, but in my opinion, the track is drying incredibly quickly. I don't really see the need for this session. I really don't, because track temperature is up and it's getting drier and hotter all the time. So this is basically just a wait around for the first half an hour as well. If you wonder why we're an hour late as well, it's because we've literally gotten the case where, as Miller 157.095, we had a 45-minute delay to the second part of qualifying for Moto 3. And that's put everything behind schedule. And then we've had this come in. And the sprint race was already reduced to 11 laps, so it's all just changed around once again. As across the line, Bezzecchi fourth on a 157.6. Martin, a 158.986 as well coming in. So it's all coming along nicely. Marc Marquez, the top time there, 156.227. So this is a dry track to me. This is totally a dry track. I can't believe it's not actually a dry track right now that we are seeing out on the circuit. This is the wet session in total, what it's officially being built as. And then we will go sprint racing. So this is all part of the sprint show, basically. It's a practice session wrapped up inside the sprint show. So you get two actions on one. Megan Birch will be joining me in the commentary box shortly to talk about the sprint race. She will join us on the comp team this weekend. But yeah, it's 11:35. I thought it'd be over by now. It turns out not. So air temperature 27 degrees, track temperature 31 degrees, 59% humidity. The track is drying. The wet tyres out there are doing absolutely nothing. It is quite funny to see it, personally, why they're running such a fuss up with it all. But yeah, there you go. That's the rule, I'm afraid. It's what we're seeing going forward in motorsports. Rather be wasting everybody's time and yeah, being cautious, but still not great. There's confirmation of Alex Marquez ruled out as well with injury. Let's just see if we can refresh and get you a better live timing graphic, because that still says the Saturday practice and qualifying update. Zarco does a 1:55.585, as you can see on the board. So they're all out there currently on the still same tyres. Got to really select this to get it right, haven't you? Just to try and get it in. So Bagnaya's in, 8 minutes in, and he'll go and get going as well on the dry bike. They'll do a little bit of talking, a little bit of updates, and then all should be good. I don't think there is actually a difference in the text chats right now for what we're seeing. So even I'm confused right now what's going on. It's an unusual session, this. Nothing's been updated since 8:04 this morning. Oh well. There it works. Now, let me just get this sprint race in. There you go. There's the new distances as well that you've all been experiencing. So the last update we've got is from Alex Marquez, which is ruled out with a double rib fracture. That's it. Not exactly the usual show you see on a pre for a sprint race, which is usually me holding a microphone talking, wearing a headset, commentating on an emergency practice session that's been thrown into the schedule right at the last second. But Zarco 1:55.585. Miller, Marquez in there too. Augusto Fernandez, Maverick Vinales. Just having a better run of it right now. But Zarco, top of the board and looking quicker in the sector times as well. I'd just like to point out as well. Sector 1, 35.4. Sector 2, looking quick as well. Anyone gone down this short practice session? Nope, no one. And hello, McCray. It's a pretty much it's a useless session. That we've added it in because we've never had any wet running here. Obviously, it's the first time here, and the track was questionable at wet weather. The riders are saying, it could be a problem, we want to go out and check it out. They've given them this session to do that, and then it hasn't really been needed. It's dry. They're going to do the race. I can tell you right now, this is Bezecchi, and he's out there on dry tyres, and he's going fine. They're going to do this race, this sprint race. They will do it on dry tyres. I guarantee it to you. But 1:55.585. And there goes Bagnaia out on the track now with the dry tyres. Looking good to me. So, yeah, all fine for right now. And there's zero problem out there. Zero problem, zero errors, all looking good. And they'll head off now as well. Out onto the circuit once more. 5 minutes to go in this short session. And then we'll get ready for the sprint race. No idea what the procedure is for that. 12:10 we're being told British summertime. I don't know if that's lights out or when the procedure starts. It's been like trying to get blood from a stone at the moment, trying to find out everything of information from Dorna here this weekend. It's not been the best advice for what you can try and get. Yeah, the WhatsApp group is not doing that great either. Trying to find out. Simon Patterson might have tweeted something as well. I know. Been helping out a lot this weekend with timetable issues. Yeah, he's just tweeted, Marco Bezzecchi is now on the track in a wet practice session on slicks. Smart move to understand the track and wouldn't surprise if the others don't follow. So it's basically a 15-minute extra session. But Jake Dixon, I think, has just gone on pole position in Moto 2. That's going to be a fun race that we'll commentate on tomorrow live on Twitch. So just to let you know, by the way, Moto 3 not live at all. That'll be on Monday because we're doing Japan at the same time, unless there's a changeover. But what is the plan is Moto 2 is live on Twitch, then uploaded to YouTube straight after. MotoGP is live on both, and then, yeah, we'll just go from there in the future as we wait as well for other things as well with DORN and blocks as they come through. It's very unusual that they've gone through with this schedule as well, with the track drying rapidly. It does feel a little bit useless. Mazmar says, MM93 Go Honda from Indonesia, Lampong. Hello, welcome along again. Nice to see you again, Maz. Marc Marquez currently down in... Where is Mark? Fifth position. Of course, this doesn't matter because we've already got the grid sorted. This is just an extra bonus session that everybody's getting to understand the track conditions before going in for the sprint race. Bezzecchi, a 1:55.215. Teams will be learning something from this, but not enough to put it into production for the race. It's too short a time. All that's being learned right now is riders, so for braking zones, stamp patches on the track to avoid in the race, so on. It's just a nice, normal runaround for the session. Part of me is also thinking, because we want to try and avoid something from someone, you know who. I can't say it. I'm literally terrified now we're on YouTube Live of saying anything or doing anything. It's quite nerve-wracking. But we might go off here after this session ends and then come back on right before the start of the sprint race. So that's sort of how I'm thinking. Just setting up another live stream quickly and getting you all there as well. But I don't know. The Marini does a 1:54.037 across the board. So thumbs up there, looking good. However, it's okay so far. It's okay so far. So thumbs up, looking good. Bagnaia on the dry tyres, we're 7/10 faster. So the track's dry. So everyone's going to do this on the dry tyres. So effectively, we've just wasted 15 minutes of everybody's time. We're at 4:12 Indian time. So yeah. But I've never seen rain above international circuits before, to be fair. Even during Formula One's days, every time we raced here, it was pitch perfect. Just sunshine, dries and everything. Carlo Espinosa talking with Prima Pramac there as well. What are they talking about? What's he getting involved in, the old man of the sea? Let's have a look down there as well. Very unusual. As Jack Miller goes fastest on a 1:51.729. Jorge Martin, 14th at the moment, comes across the line, goes P2 on a 1:52.702. So thumbs up there. Nicer times around on the board. An extra little session as well. That wasn't planned, and just got thrown into the schedule. And has mucked up all our systems here in the commentary box for the Tissot Sprint. But yeah, sprint and race live on YouTube, by the way, this weekend. Just with a different name. Just to try and avoid things. Just temporary. It's just temporary. It's just temporary that we're doing this. Just while we get everything sorted and fixed. The next 2 races will be like this. And then as soon as the live stream's over, the names will revert back to what they normally are. Do you see what I mean? So it's a live get around. And then, so the live stream's called one thing, we'll finish it, and when people go back, it's the original name, the normal name. That's a little clever turnaround we sort of got to play around with as they come into it. Bagnaia up as well at the moment, estimated P1. He's now passing Maverick Vinales, who I believe, looking at my timing screen, is on medium front, soft rear tyres. Yes, he is. And Bagnaia goes on the inside of him down to turn 14. Wheel to wheel, and Bagnaia goes through. Vinales going to try and have a run down with him as well, but Bagnaia does a 1:51.638. The track has improved 6 seconds already from the start to now. And Bezzecchi, 1:51.361, our pole sitter, for the Tissot Sprint and the Grand Prix tomorrow. So the track is improving. It's improved at the right times, which is great. Miller and Martin looking good. There's a few clouds starting to come in, 59% humidity. There's the checker flag. So the session's over already, and Miller goes fastest briefly. 1:49.017 for Jorge Martin. So thumbs up already. Better session on the board all round. So Martin, Miller, Bezzecchi, Quartararo, Bagnaia, Zarco, Marini coming through at the moment. Checker flag is out for this one. So all looking good. So Bagnaia's a thousandth off at the moment as he's lighting up the rear tyre. And it looks fine. We didn't need this session. It's perfectly fine out there. The conditions are superb. Didn't need to run through this session. Didn't need to have it. And now we can just focus fully on the sprint race in around about 30 minutes' time. Well, no, actually 20 minutes' time. We don't know. We have no idea when this race is going to happen. It is super bizarre. And I've been up since 2:45 now, and it's now 11:46 British time. So I've been up a number of hours. I can't. Was it 9 hours already? Blimey, 9 hours. And isn't that terrifying? Is it 9 hours? 3:45, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 9 hours. See, brain just collapses after that long and a little sleep to come through. Right, the Tissot Sprint is at 12:08 British summertime. So that is when the lights go out. So yeah, we're going to go into a quick start procedure. So we're going to stay here. We're not going to change live streams. We're going to stay here because we're going to go into a quick start procedure onto the grid, like when the red flag comes out. So effectively, we just had a warm-up, and now we're going straight to the race. That's pretty much how it's working. Jorge Martin, though, tops that session with a 1:49.017. I know it doesn't matter. It's a free practice. It matters nothing. It's not even classified as free practice 3. It's just practice. But it's Martin, Zarco, Prima Prima 1, 2. Could be interesting. They're the best of the conditions. Bagnaia, Oliveira, Miller, Marini, Augusto Fernandez, Bezzecchi, Quartararo coming in as well. Raul Fernandez rounds out the top 10. Johan Mir, Brad Binder, Maverick Vinales, Marc Marquez, Stefan Bradl, Michele Pirro, Franco Morbidelli, Aleix Espargaro, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Takaki Nakagami and Pol Espargaro. That's it. Not bad, actually, on that run around. And now, I suppose everybody wants to see what they actually want to. Never seen before. As will come up now. Me taking off my glasses. Oh, there you go. That's how different I look. Taking off my headset. And picking up the handheld mic. Because it's time to go into presenter mode. Because it's a different segment of the show now to get used to. So it's an interesting one that we're now going to have to progress our minds around. But I hope you can join me and still be okay. Because, fingers crossed, it's going to become quite interesting. But here we go. I hope you're all ready for it. Stand by then for the first ever Tissot Sprint of India. You know when you try and do something so elegantly and it just doesn't work? That was one of those occasions. This is how much the system's played up on us. That should have been the race ident, and it's not the race ident, which is quite funny because I'm trying to split it into two at the moment. Anyway, here it comes then, the Tissot Sprint. We got there in the end. Hello everybody and welcome to live coverage of the MotoGP Tissot Sprint from the Indian Grand Prix. Should we just pretend that first part of the session never happened and we did that first time around? Oh, the joys of live streaming and not being able to edit anything as well. That's always a key feature. Anyway, hello, welcome to India. So MotoGP is about to go where it has never gone before, a Tissot Sprint race. and the first one here on Indian soil. We are looking forward to it. Without a doubt, going to be one of the most chaotic and exciting races we're going to see on the calendar. The reason we say that is because the track layout, it is so tight. We've just had the session. You've all been watching us as well. It's a long open back straightaways into tight corners and overtaking opportunities literally all the way around the circus. And it's so much fun, and it's going to be so much fun. In a few moments, we're going to hand over to TNT Sports with Rachel, and she's going to talk us through all the pre-show stuff as well. And it's a quick start procedure. So we're into the procedure now. So it's 18 minutes until the green flag goes for the formation lap to start, and we will begin that procedure to go into the race. So it's not that long left. In fact, we're going to get ready to cross over now. So stay tuned. We're all set to go. Here it comes. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of action. Let's hand it over to Rachel once more. Still no Susie Perry. Our best to her. Here's Rachel.
Well, welcome back then to the Indian Grand Prix. And I'm very pleased to say the countdown is now on for the Tissot Sprint. Oh, and just like that, 18 minutes 45 we have left on the clock before we get to see some brilliant action from the Premier class. Of course, they just had a wet session, if you are just joining us, because we had an absolute downpour about an hour ago now in between their Moto3 qualifying sessions, which did delay things quite a bit. But we are still set to have an 11-lap sprint coming your way in just like I said, about 18 minutes time. Sylvain, of course, is still alongside me. What would, if anything, can we take away from that last kind of extra qualifying session? I guess really a chance for them just to get some more circuit time here at a track they've never ridden at.
Yeah, and to have a look at where the wet patches are. It's really important on a new track. You know, every track dries differently. So sometimes it dries just on the racing line because of the bikes coming through. But also sometimes you get, you know, some drips of water coming through the track, and that takes longer as well. So the riders would have had a good look at all that, because it looks like they're going to go out on slicks. The slick tires will be faster. They're going to have to be careful of those damp patches though. So a good chance for them to have a look at that track, which is a new track, new conditions for them on this particular track, and to assess the situation and the grip levels in those conditions.
And Jorge Martin as well, he was pretty fast, wasn't he? He was on used slicks and he ended up 49 flat, which wasn't so much off what we saw actually earlier when it was pretty good conditions.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. We saw that there is still a few patches. Those 15 minutes, 18 minutes are going to give the track a little bit more time to dry. The sun looks like it's coming out a little bit as well, so hopefully we get almost a full dry track. It's going to be a lot of action though, because I get the feeling that offline there's still going to be some wet patches, and we know that those guys, they have to attack. The first lap they have to be very aggressive, and they're going to have to get really, really close to those wet patches.
It's going to be an aggressive sprint, isn't it? That's for sure. Well, Michael has been down and about for us, and he managed to catch up with Wilco Zeelenberg, who is the team boss of Raul Hernandez. So let's go and hear from him right now.
Wilco, obviously, we've seen Miguel really strong in these conditions in the past on the KTM and in the Aprilia this year at Silverstone. How's he feeling after that 15 minutes?
Yeah, actually quite good, but basically better because we struggled in the dry more than in the intermediates. So he was, yeah, quite okay. But of course, you saw the track is not dry, it's not wet. We were able to ride with the slicks, but of course, a couple of seconds from the pace. But he had a good feeling. So.
Seems like Raul's found a bit of something this weekend. Definitely first time through into Q2. More confidence with the bike?
Yes, for sure. After Barcelona, he made a good step, but he doesn't like these conditions. So he was very good in the dry, but now it's intermediate, and he really preferred the slick tires and have a dry race and no patches. And actually, it's still quite a bit patchy.
Thank you, Wilco.
You're welcome.
Well, possibly not a surprise. We've actually got another delay that we've just heard as well. So Tissot Sprint now is not coming your way until 20 past the hour. So 20 past 12, wherever you are watching at home in the UK. So about 24 minutes for us now. We don't really know why. Is it again because they want it to be a completely dry race out there to avoid any confusion?
I think so, yes. I think the riders would have requested to have that full dry track. It is new. You have to bear in mind that the track is the first time we come here. There is still, you know, a few issues with the safety. We're not 100% sure about everything, you know, and there's always a little bit of that when you come to new places. Yes, they've done a great job at, you know, sorting everything and trying to make it as safe as possible. But the riders, if they can, and it looks like they can by delaying it a little bit, they want to try as dry as possible. They won't want to take any risk to lose the front in some place that you normally don't crash or anything like that. We don't want to see a big accident. So, you know, if it's for a question of a few minutes, I think it's the right decision to wait a little bit more.
Pit lane, then you can see a new time is just popped up on the screen. 24, just under 24 minutes now till it does open for the Tissot sprint. I mean, Sylvain, you did speak to a lot of the riders yesterday in that kind of briefing. They'd had a whole day out on track and they'd got to experience it. How positive were they? At the beginning of the day when they had the track walk, they were really excited to get racing here. What was the overarching feeling from them in that meeting?
Well, it's funny because somehow there was some kind of really low expectation coming here. Everybody, including the riders, were thinking that we're going to go to a place where it's been basically left by F1 over 10 years ago, last time they came here. No racing, no track activity, and they were going to come. We were kind of expecting like an outgrown track where you're going to have to, you know, cut your way through the jungle. Kind of, it was like that though. And then we go here and actually it's great facilities. They've done a good job with the track. It looks good. And the layout is absolutely brilliant. We've got all sort of different corners, bank corners, up and down, different levels, blind stuff, fast stuff, slow stuff. So it's absolutely brilliant. So I think everybody had a really positive reaction to that because there was low expectation as well. And yes, it's not perfect, but for a first time out coming here, I think Dorna and the FIM have done a good job.
I mean, the main delays, haven't they, have just been due to weather. Remember what happened with F1? There was a dog on track there. We haven't had anything like that so far
We've
this
had monkeys
weekend.
in the pits though.
We've had monkeys. They're not on track though. That's okay. We're okay with that. There's dogs down here as well. But anyway, right, someone unfortunately who won't be taking part in the Tissot sprint is Alex Marquez. He's had a couple of rib problems. I think he's maybe had a couple of breaks, but he has been chatting to Michael.
Alex, obviously a big crash this morning. Firstly, how are you feeling?
Not bad. I mean, I have pain for sure. It's 3 ribs broken, so not an easy way. I know that tomorrow will be even worse. But yeah, sad for the team to jump this race. Also, I think I will miss the Japan GP. That is painful, that because it's a GP that I love it, but it's like this. I did that mistake on quali, was last fighting lap, so I just trying to push to put myself on Q2. But the life is like this, and we need to recover now and come back stronger.
I imagine you're frustrated. I think back to Argentina, the pole position in similar track conditions could have been an opportunity today.
Well, I think today they have more problems than in Argentina, and now they are trying to dry the start because it's quite wet, and with the leaves can be really dangerous. So we'll see how they will manage, and tomorrow looks like also some forecasts say that will be rain, so will be for sure a difficult race, sprint and race for these guys.
Good luck with the recovery. Hope to see you back in Indonesia.
Thank you so much.
Disappointing weekend then there for Alex. First time, obviously, at this circuit. This was that crash he had as well, which does mean he doesn't take any further part in this weekend.
Yeah, unfortunately, a bit offline there for Alex, and a really fast lap, actually, but he got, like, really slammed on the floor, broken ribs. I mean, if you've ridden with broken ribs before, you know how painful that would be. It's absolutely horrendous. So we wish him all the best for his recovery. Motegi next week, that's, yeah, like he said, that's not going to happen. The ribs, the problem is it's painful for a very long time. And riding the bike, you know, with you're constantly bouncing on the tank and fighting the bike, moving around. It's hard to breathe, never mind about riding a bike. So he needs to take the time to recover. It wouldn't be possible to ride with broken ribs. I mean, it'd be so painful.
And especially how demanding Neil, who's just jumped back in with us, said this circuit was. But Alex sitting in 9th in the standings, when you have back-to-back rounds like that, you know, it's really going to affect him, isn't it, in terms of championship positions?
Yeah, he'd gathered some really good momentum. He'd had a couple of, I'd say, well, he had a couple of Honda years on the factory. Well, he had 1 year on the factory Honda, then riding for the LCR team. It weren't quite happening. Lots of crashes. He lost his confidence. He jumped on that Ducati, and he was really starting to find his way. And yeah, but the issue is now you break a few ribs, you end up missing 2 or 3 rounds, and then you lose that momentum. And there's no chance of losing your momentum now at the end of the season because they come thick and fast. It's hard to get it back because everybody's on it. So the championship's going to be decided this year, I think, by a little silly mistake by someone. We've never had this before. You know, in the history of Grand Prix racing, we've never had so many races. We've got 8 races in 10 weekends. We've got 6 more flyaways after. 7 more oh, 6 or 7 before.
You've got 8 more rounds, so yeah.
Yeah. And peculiar tracks, strange places. It's really taxing on all the riders, and we just here at the first one of the flyaways with all this heat or tricky conditions. It's tough for the riders. I can't emphasize that enough.
Brutal running, isn't it? That's for sure. Well, Michael is still down pit lane with for us, catching a couple of interviews with people. He's got Lucio Cecchinello.
Lucio, obviously there's a further delay. Can you give us any information as to why this has been held back?
Well, of course, Dorna is trying to take a little bit time to let the racetrack get drier as much as possible. By the way, the impression of our both riders says that the grip, either with wet and also with the slick tire, wasn't that bad. So let's hope that it will not rain and we can see a good sprint.
We've seen a little bit of a resurgence from the factory Honda riders this weekend. Has there been something new, and will those upgrades come to you?
Well, in reality, we are still having, you know, the same material. As you know, we are keep developing the new Aero package, which, yes, we are trying different COZ center of gravity and different rider position on the bike. And let's say that after Misano test, we have found a little improvement, and I hope that what we have seen so far here with the Hondas slightly more competitive, it will be repeated in the next Grand Prix.
Good luck today, Lucio. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Well, Lucio there talking possibly about what we might see from Taka Nakagami, what he's going to put into the session going out. Again, he's had an off this weekend, but starts from 14th on the 5th row of the grid there. Again, talking about that test and bringing a few things here for the end of the season and looking ahead to next year as well. It seems quite early on, round 13. Is that what kind of usually happens, guys? You tell me. I come from Superbikes world.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, it comes really quick. It's funny that what Lucio said. They've tried a new frame. They've tried a new exhaust. They've tried a new rear end with a very complicated new technology. But then really what they found was a better position on the bike. Yeah. Sometimes that's what it takes. You move the rider weights a little bit, and then suddenly you feel better. You know, you can. The rider with his weight accounts for quite a large proportion of what's going on in the bike, and he moves on the bike as well. So you change the dynamics, you know, on what's going on. So we've experienced actually that with Suzuki back when I was a test rider, and it used to make huge differences. So yeah, and we've seen it with Lorenzo as well on the Ducati. As soon as he sorted out his position, he started winning races.
Yeah, once he got that bath mat. Remember the bath mat that they sort of stuck to the tank? Yeah, and it meant that he could use his legs, his lower body to grip on the bike, change his position in the corner, and it was bizarre. It looked horrendous in the garage. I remember everyone was laughing at it, and then he went out and won first time with it. It was quite funny, wasn't it? All the money that they'd spent, and then it was just a case of putting some sort of grippers, some suckers on that tank, and it did make the difference.
Sometimes it's just these little things that
just
need switching up.
Big difference.
Exactly. Well, let's hear then from the KTM garage, because they've had a mixed weekend, I'm going to say, so far, but Michael's down with their team boss.
Francesco, a further delay to let the track dry. I bet your boys wanted to go now because Jack's quite handy with the slick tire and damp conditions.
Yeah, I mean, there's only the grip spot that it's wet. All the rest is dry completely. So it's not dumpy. It's just dry, and yeah, we have to fix the starting spots because it's completely wet, and with the slick condition, with slick tires, will be tricky. But yeah, the rest is fine. We were ready in both cases, so yeah, let's go.
New track this weekend threw a little bit of a conundrum into the team whenever you're a developing bike with a new aero body, so it looks like it's been hard work.
Yeah, we've been affected from a yellow flag yesterday. Brad was fourth directly to Q2. That completely changed the mind and the perspective of the rest of the weekend. But yeah, it was under a yellow flag, so we go through Q1, and Q1 is always tricky. We get another yellow flag, so he didn't finish his best lap, let's say. Yeah, nothing to add. I mean, rules are clear, and we have to follow them. So let's focus now on the sprint race target, and let's see.
Good luck for the sprint.
Thank you.
Well, that was interesting then. Obviously, Brad was more effective than we thought by not being able to go into fourth position in the practice session yesterday under that yellow flag. Again, at this level, though, guys, you need to kind of put that to the back of your mind and just get out there and do the job.
It's just twice really, really bad luck. And he was on good laps as well, both times. So with that yellow flag rule, unfortunately, his lap time got deleted. But he's definitely one to watch for today and tomorrow. And we know how fast he is in the start. We know how daring he is, you know, with his overtakes. I mean, in Misano, he was absolutely unbelievable, aggressive, but control. He was great. So I think we're going to have to keep an eye on Brad because he's starting from quite far down the grid now. Where is he? 14th?
13th.
Yeah, 13 on the grid. So
Jack Miller 15th.
Yeah, so I think he's going to make a good comeback.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm expecting such an aggressive opening laps in this race because they've never raced here before. I know this might sound a bit silly, they don't know where to pass. There'll be some surprises, some shock moves. I think it's going to be entertaining. It's one of those races, I'm glad I'm going to be commentating on it, not riding in it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's hear from the other KTM boss now from Tech 3. Hervé Poncharal is chatting to Michael.
Hervé, obviously you're for double duty, the president, team manager, but also we've seen Carmelo Espeleta down in pit lane, so seemed like a decision from up above to delay the session.
Yes, but you know the weather was against us today earlier on with this you know heavy shower. Right now, you know we are lucky enough that the track is drying. All the riders after the big warm-up we have had, and most of them were on slick front, and we at the end of the session say green light to go racing. They just have asked another 30 minutes for the track to be almost fully dry. It was. Now we're drying the start, which is the start line, which is the worst part of the track because we know that it could be, you know, creating problem. But other than that, you know, I would say everything is fine. We're ready to go, and hopefully there will be a great sprint race today. Huh?
It's looked like Augusto's had maybe the best pace this morning of all the KTM riders, so he was a little disappointed, obviously, with the qualifying.
Yeah, it was, you know, yesterday we missed Q2 because of the yellow flag, because we ended up P7, but that lap was cancelled because of Nakagami's crash. Today, we did our best lap that would have been good enough to be, I think, P14. And that lap was also cancelled because of, I forgot who crashed, anyway. And the grid position, which is P18, now P17 because Alex is not going to start, is not reflecting the level. But we know grid position is essential, is critical. Here, it's going to be maybe even more critical, especially if there are a few places still a bit damp. So it's a pity, you know, you have a good pace, you know you can do well, but let's wait and see what's going to happen during the first lap. But if I can say without saying anything wrong, I was just a bit of a diesel, you know. He's a bit of a diesel and he's always doing his fastest lap, the very last lap, but also the first 3-4 laps in the race, he's not, you know, sometimes fast enough. And halfway through the race, very often we are as quick as the front guys, but it's too late, especially for the sprint race.
Good luck today, Hervé.
Thank you.
Well, Hervé just teased it, didn't he, as well? So the session has been pushed back 10 further minutes. So Tissot Sprint will now come your way at 12:30. Possibly don't hold me to that, but I'm going to say it there. 21 minutes now until pit lane opens. Anything's possible here at the Indian Grand Prix, of course. Well, he was just saying as well, maybe a little bit unfair and not really reflective on what his riders have possibly shown they're capable of doing in terms of Augusto Fernandez down on the 6th row, sorry, in 17th, 145 flat. I guess yesterday he showed great promise, and we possibly expect a little bit more from him, a rookie, a leveler at this circuit, hasn't quite played out. And do you think it's going to be very difficult from the 6th row of the grid as well? Because this track seems tight, and that first corner comes at you fast.
Yeah, it's going to be super hard to overtake. It's going to be very difficult to make some moves, and also, even though they're waiting a little bit for the track to dry, and it's mainly the straight actually, because it looks like the straight line where the starting grid is still wet, and you don't want to start a MotoGP bike with all those riding devices, the lowering devices, and all that power on a wet track with the slick tires. So we're going to be waiting a little bit. To overtake, though, it's going to be tough, because even though we're waiting, there still will be some patches away from the line. So you're going to have to be careful where you pull the moves and where you kind of go for it, because it'll be really, really easy to go inside just a little bit too much, clip a bit of a wet line and lose the front.
It's going to be one of those strange races where fortune will favour the brave, but you could face plant in a heartbeat. If you're hesitant, if you're careful on those opening laps, you will be nowhere. If you're aggressive and take the risk and get away with it, then you've got a chance of getting a podium today. It's one of those days. It's all about getting a good jump off the line. This is where, if you're the championship leader, you are super anxious. These are the races you dread, where the element of luck plays a part in it, because you don't know exactly where those damp patches are, especially on the painted areas. And we've got lots of painted areas, lots of curbs on this track where the riders use all of it. So yeah, this is the man and that's what's going through his head now. He's trying to stay calm, trying to go through his routine, planning it. All he can focus on now is the things that he can control, and that's the start. And it's the most difficult part, the initial launch. And this weekend he's had a couple of scares, hasn't he? We saw yesterday, we saw the rear end spin up a little bit. They're now drying the start and finish line. That'll be playing in his mind. Will it be dry? Have they rectified the issues with the rear spinning too much? So there's lots going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we did see, didn't we, as well, the start-finish there just being clean, because that's important as well. OK, we've heard from quite a lot of the teams. Let's now hear the Yamaha story with Marco.
Mayo, it's looked like a step forward this weekend for the Yamaha guys, especially Fabio, right from first practice on Friday. Were there some steps forward in the Misano test?
Not, it's not like that. We just came here, and you know, the grip was good from the beginning. I was really disappointed and worried because we lost all the session because we had an issue with the transmission. So then we decided also to stop Frankie. But luckily, from the FP2, the bike worked well. Both riders were quite satisfied. But you know, it's always like that. Then when it's the moment to try the time attack is where we suffer for the most. Luckily here, Fabio was able to manage to start in the third row. And now it's difficult. It's really difficult to ever forecast about how the race can finish.
And Fabio never liked these conditions previously, but in the last few years we've seen him enjoy them. Is he quite relaxed ahead of the sprint?
Yeah, also at the end of the practice, it was quite fast. Unfortunately, he missed the possibility to do one more lap because all the other improved in the last lap. But he was feeling well on the bike, and luckily, okay, now they are postponing the start, and I really hope that the track will be dry, and then we have to trust on them.
Thanks, Mayo. Good luck today.
You're welcome.
Well, Fabio then on the third row in 8th, looking pretty chilled there with his headphones in just before this session. Obviously delayed session once again. I think the riders have to possibly get used to that. But had a couple of problems, didn't he, yesterday? He had to kind of go off the track twice, some technical problems, we were told. Managed to find something, though, in 8th. In terms of a Yamaha around this circuit, where will Fabio struggle, do you think, Neil?
Unfortunately, we've got the longest straight of the year, and it's a first gear hairpin corner leading onto it. So you're going to suffer a little bit with acceleration. We know the Honda's not the fastest bike. He's going to have a little bit of top speed issues.
But the Yamaha, you mean?
The Yamaha, yeah, sorry. But the rest of the track for the Yamaha is beautiful. It was like it was designed for a Yamaha, and that's why we've seen Fabio being on it this weekend. Some of the sessions he's been right up there. So, yeah, it's just a shame it's got that 1.2 kilometre long straight. Otherwise, Fabio would have a chance for the win.
And his teammate then, Franco, a little bit further down on the 6th row in 16th. Again, a lot of work to do from back there.
Yeah, that would be tough again. And again, it's all about finding the position, finding the opportunity. Sometimes as well, you got somebody in front that overshoots a little bit, open a gap. So you got to be ready to take every opportunity when you're that far on the grid. You got to be opportunists. But like Neil said, really, really hard to end up in a face plant. I mean, the difference from zero to hero when you're taking that kind of risk with a greener track that's been washed out by that big downpour early on, and a track where there's still wet patches. It's taking risks, but you can really
you can pay the price, can't you, Sylvain?
Very easily, yes.
And I tell you what, it's so easy as a commentator to go, hey, you should have done that. But we've been there, we've ridden in these conditions. I never liked it. I don't know what you felt like. You was always incredibly strong in mixed conditions. I don't know why that was. But you obviously took the risk, or you had more feel than most people.
Yeah, I think it was more of an attitude, because I did so many 250 races with private bikes. I didn't really have an opportunity to do good results against the factory bikes back in the days in GPs. So every time I saw like the wet track or a patchy track, and I was always thinking, well, the protagonists of the championship, they're going to take it a little bit easier, and I don't care. I'm just going to go for it and take the risk. And it always like kind of paid off, because by having that attitude, you warm the tires better, you take more risks, and the guys are a little bit on the defensive, but you're on the attack.
You was able to lead the French Grand Prix as well at one point.
Oh yeah, that didn't last very long.
You led the French Grand Prix. For a French rider, it's pretty impressive. And it was in tricky conditions like this, wasn't it?
It was just like that. We had, well, we were all on slicks, and there was some drizzle, so you could see, you know, in the visor, mental rain, we call it.
And you just carried on going?
Well, I carried on going just as if it was dry, and it worked out, well, until a certain point.
Until it didn't.
Well, these guys are taking a trip down memory lane. Should we get back to what's happening on track? But we did just see Marco Bezzecchi a little bit earlier. He's man on pole, of course, and Michael was down a little bit earlier with the VR46 team boss, Pablo Nieto.
Pablo, Marco seems to love these conditions. Every time there's a little bit of a patchy intermittent track, he's always right at the front. Feeling good ahead of the sprint?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different, but anyway, new track, new condition. I think we are ready, because all weekend was very, very good. But now it's race, another story. We have to try to make our best. Also, Luca is in a very good moment, so let's see what happens.
Seemed like Luca was, well, fastest yesterday after free practice too. He's finding his feet quickly with this new circuit.
Yeah, I think so. I think he can be one of the top riders. We lost the first road from 10-10s or something like that, but I think he can make a very good race. He's a very good moment now. Also, in the test that we make in Misano, he was the fastest one, so I'm very confused with him.
Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, Luca Marini then fastest in the test, like we just heard there, and also fastest yesterday. And then his teammate just went and did one better, didn't he? Bezzecchi taking pole position here earlier on today. Alex Marquez, if you are just joining us, won't take part in the sprint because he's got some fractured ribs and will also sit out of Japan next week as well. But the quality and I guess the class we've seen from the VR46 guys this weekend, possibly expected for a Ducati around this circuit, guys?
Yeah, we felt when we got here, we saw the track map. Once you see a 1.2 kilometre straight, we're going,
Ducati.
I think this might suit the Ducatis a little bit. But Marini's impressed me this weekend. He looks like he's gone up a gear. I feel like he needs to. He's always like the nearly man, isn't he? I don't know what you think, Sylvain. He's incredibly fast. It's almost like you look at the other Italians around him on good bikes are prepared to risk that little bit more, and they just seem to achieve a bit more. He's a slow burner, though. He was like that in Moto2. It took him a while to really get up to top.
He's a thinker, isn't he?
Yes.
He thinks a lot about things, and he likes it. And he's like that in his like when you talk to him, he just comes across as somebody that really thinks about what he's saying, and he's a clever guy.
I know it sounds daft, but sometimes you can think a little bit too much, as opposed to just let the instinct react, take a risk. I feel like that's his only weak point.
In terms as well of their positions on the grid, they're sat right behind each other in terms of Marini behind Bezzecchi. Does that help them at all, being teammates? Can they kind of follow each other around?
No, yeah, Marini might follow him, but they're not going to help each other, that's for sure. Teammates, even though they are mates, you know, outside the track, and they train together, and they're both part of the VR46, these guys on track are fierce competitor, and your teammate is your first enemy. Well,
yeah,
it's the guy you got to beat.
It really is like that.
Well, Michael is still wandering down pit lane for us. Next up is Max Biaggi.
Max, how's the feeling in the Aprilia garage ahead of this sprint?
Yeah, a little bit, you know, think about what to do, but it's good because the surface will be dry, everybody is slicked, and even if we start a little bit behind, we never know in the race. So it's a sprint race, anything happen.
It looks like this weekend the speed has gone to this side of the garage. It does seem to alternate between Maverick and Aleix. Is that just rider feeling and comfort?
Yeah, unbelievable. We didn't expect to finish the last 3 on the qualify, but the pace is good. But I guess it's good also for the other guys. Looks like Ducati shows some muscle here, but we don't give up, you know. Tomorrow is the long race, but anything happen again, and then we go to other track where I think Aprilia will work much better.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you.
Almost already looking forward to next weekend. I mean, we've still got 2 races to go around this circuit. In terms of his 2 riders, Maverick Vinales on the 3rd row in 12th, and then Aleix Espargaro on the 4th row in 10th. Again, pretty well matched in terms of positions there. How have you assessed the Aprilia's performances so far, Sylvain?
They've done all right. They've just lacked that little bit of pace that Ducati were able to deliver with the new rear rubber, with the time attack. So actually looking quite good in race rhythm. And they've got the Hondas as well. The Hondas we're not used to see them so far ahead. So both factory Repsol Hondas are in front of them and doing much better this weekend, probably because of the little findings that they've done in Misano.
In terms of the Aprilia, the short sprint or the GP, what will, I guess, work in their favour a bit more in these conditions around this circuit?
Normally with the Aprilia, I think of the longer races. Maverick's he's not normally the best starter, and the Aprilia as a motorcycle is not the best off the line. So I usually think over the longer race distance tomorrow that they'll have more of an advantage. That said, they have made some steps in that area. I've got to say, Maverick as a rider looks like he's improved his aggression on the opening laps. Aleix, I don't know, he's been all over this weekend. Sometimes I have a bit of an Aleix feeling. I don't have it this week. I don't have it today.
Well, the safety car then, as you can see, is hopefully going out for one final time. Again, we're just checking all the different corners on this circuit to make sure they are completely dry. That's what we're looking for here. We don't want any mixed conditions. Safety is paramount because it's the first time we are getting to bring the MotoGP paddock to this circuit, and you can see how much, can't you? The Indian fans are enjoying it as well, and obviously they're also hoping someone like Marquez is going to go really well around here. In the press conference yesterday, unfortunately, he was the only person getting questions fired at him. It shows just how much the Indian fans really want him to do well, and I guess are supporting him.
Yeah, Honda is really big around here. I mean, we've seen a lot of Honda bikes everywhere, so no doubt they've been following Marc Marquez, which is arguably the biggest star of the championship at the moment. So a lot of support for him around here, and a lot of support for Honda as well.
And Neil, actually, the press conference that we saw yesterday was quite interesting because I don't know if you guys at home ever get to watch that, but the riders are asked to try and sketch, aren't they, an outline of the circuit blindfolded, and Mark was something else. It was phenomenal what I saw, which just shows how much, well, we know that as a 6-time MotoGP champion, but how much thought and time he's obviously spent on a simulator just getting his head around the circuit.
It was pretty scary, wasn't it? Because everybody had a go, and there were some decent attempts. I think Jorge Martin did a really good attempt.
It was almost like he cheated and just
That's
lifted
exactly
it
what
a
I
little bit,
thought.
because his track was perfect.
What, do you reckon Marquez would cheat?
He's probably just put it up a bit and just
But it was
down.
that good, wasn't it?
It was that good.
And he was the only rider who really took his time doing it. He was like the slowest doing it. And then he was like, oh, that looks like the track. It was scary.
It was pretty telling,
I've got
wasn't
something
it?
else to tell you,
Go
Rachel.
on.
I'd heard that this is years ago. True story. I'm not making this up. That he could, with a stopwatch, start a lap, and he could go around in his head. Bam, bam, bam.
No, two-stroke.
And do a lap, and then come round over the finish line, and he could replicate a lap.
That's
in his
impressive.
head.
That is impressive.
I've never done that before. I've tried it. You're miles off. We should try it.
I hope he's not telling porky pies, because I did tell him
That's
earlier
not a lie.
I'm gullible and I believe anything, so I hope it's not.
The other one is jam on the tyres does help. Seriously, it helps take that film off.
That one I'm taking, put in my pocket. Right, let's get down to Michael Laverty, who has an update from the grid for us. Michael, how is it looking? How's it feeling?
Slight update, Rachel. I'm looking on, actually the mechanics have just stopped, but Hodgie will remember from Qatar, I think it was 2004, it's illegal to clean your grid spot, but all the engineers were out there with a leaf blower trying to dry off the spots. That's the biggest concern for the riders. We saw yesterday whenever Pekka was on the grid, dropped the clutch on the grid start and the back straight, and the amount of power was going through the rear tyre. In dry conditions, it spun. So when you're starting here, slick tyre on a damp track, it's a bit of a concern for the riders on why the delay is going even further. But the mechanics were allowed to go out there with leaf blowers, dry the little bit of the grid where they're sat on, and then the little bit after it where the wheel spin could happen. It does seem like it's all clearing, so fingers crossed, we're going soon.
Yeah, well, obviously that's super important, and especially for the likes of Pecco Bagnaia, who we saw having those wheel spin problems yesterday. Because if you are just joining us as well, we had those practice starts yesterday, only the second time we've ever seen them. Silverstone was the first. That seems that they'd be really important when we get to go out there racing in a short while.
Yeah, what it is normally, the riders will usually practice. There'll be some special areas on the track, so normally in the back straight or the main straight, where they can do their starts and practice that. But when you come to a new venue like this, it's really good for them to be able to do an extra lap, get on the grid and practice their start there, because then it gives them a feel of when they might be able to brake, when they need to brake, and it would the idea is to basically reduce the risk of having an accident in turn one.
Yeah, it was super interesting to see, and something that I hadn't seen before as well, and was pretty telling, I'm going to say, about what we're possibly going to see now when we finally get to be competitive on the international stage for the first time in 10 years at this circuit, and for the first time ever in MotoGP. It's a Tissot sprint with Gavin, and hopefully when he makes it, Neil.
Thank you very much, Rachel. We're all set then for what's going to be a very interesting race. Not the usual commentary to what you throw up to us in the commentary box. 4 minutes to go until the pit lane opens and the start procedure will get in as well. Fingers crossed it's going to be good, but here it comes. Time for something very different. Sprinting here in India, and it's not the usual start procedure with them all on the grid and us looking forward to getting going. It is a quick start procedure, and this is how they line up on the grid for the first ever time here in India. It's Marco Bezzecchi from Jorge Martin and Francesco Bagnaia, the top three in the title, reversed on the front row. Luca Marini starts fourth, with Johan Mir fifth. Marc Marquez lines up sixth on the grid. Seventh for Johan Zarco, eighth on the grid for Fabio Quartararo. Maverick Vinales takes over in ninth position. It's 10th for Aleix Espargaro, with Raul Fernandez starting 11th. And Fabio Di Giannantonio is in 12th. 13th for Brad Binder, 14th to Kiki Nakagami. Jack Miller lines up 15th. Franco Morbidelli is in 16th. Augusto Fernandez 17th. Miguel Oliveira is 18th. 19th on the grid takes us to Paul Espargaro. 20th for Stefan Bradl. And Michele Pirro is 21st. Alex Marquez out with a double rib break. He will not be racing this weekend, and not even in the next race in Japan. Well, conditions here have been questionable across this weekend. 1 minute 40 until the pit lane opens. It's been kind of a strange day, kind of a strange weekend as well, coming into it all as well for the weekend. Rain delays, track delays, Marshall's not having any water, just delay after delay after delay. And speaking of delays, welcoming back up to the commentary box for the first time in a very long time, alongside me is Megan Birch. And Megan, delay, delay, delay. It keeps on raining, but finally the quick start procedure's going in. 1 minute until the pit lane opens. They'll go to the grid, they'll do another formation lap after, and then we're racing. Quick start procedure because of the mess we've had today. An hour and a half delay to the procedure. Hello, Megan.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, but it's madness. It's madness. 90-minute delay for all of this.
And it's a very long time. Why does he look like he's...
That's...
he's praying.
Yeah, that's Johan
Maybe that's what he
Martin.
was giving up.
That's Johan Martin back in as well. You've missed a lot. Bagnaia flipping over in Catalonia. No, you were in Catalonia, but you didn't commentate the start of the race, only the end.
That's a
with
nice
Spagro.
slide.
Yeah. What do you reckon? It's the sun actually setting. That's how late we're getting. It's 5 o'clock. Pit lane opens in 8 seconds' time. What do you reckon we're going to get today then? Drama or intrigue? Turn one here, very tight. And you remember this track from the F1 days. You've played up the F1 game.
I want it to have drama, so not drama that it will make it go longer.
Yes, I agree with you there. Procedure's underway. 60 seconds to get out of the pit lane. Literally, pack out your trash. And away they go. It looks like everyone's going to head out there, Megan, as well on dry compound tyres. Despite the fact it was raining, the sun's come out. It's 31-degree track temperature, air temperature 27 degrees. It's beautiful out there. It's absolutely beautiful.
It is. Marquez is limping.
When is he not limping?
I think he's never actually given his body full enough time to repair.
Yeah, it never has. 30 seconds until the pit lane closes, and then that's it. Mark's out there. If you miss the pit lane, the green flag time, you have to start from the pit lane, not from the back of the grid. So he's got time to find, but looks like everyone's made it out there onto the circuit. And now, Megan, they get 2 formation laps. The sighting lap on the grid, then go again straight away for the formation lap. So they're all going to be blasting out there, getting the tyres as hot as possible. Do you expect any fallers?
Maybe 1 or 2.
Pit lane is closed. Pit lane is closed. So this new start procedure, the restart procedure, has run its course. Hopefully we're all good now.
Okay, so it is 92 days till Christmas, and I have 129 things to watch until then, Christmas related and Thanksgiving related.
You're in for a very busy 99 days.
92. 99 days is how many days to the left of the year.
Yeah, I didn't need that.
Like a flake.
Do you know how many races we've got to finish?
It's enough.
There's a lot of races to finish up here in the commentary. Fingers crossed it all goes smoothly though. As the riders come in, this is still their sighting lap, remember? They haven't even started the official lap. And with 11 to go, they'll line up on the grid. Megan, do you expect a red flag? I mean, it's 45. It's gone down from being an 18-minute lap race to, I can see, an 11-lap race. 11 laps, though, for a sprint. I mean, we've waited 90 minutes for effectively 22 minutes of running. The race tomorrow, the race tomorrow is 37 minutes long.
I'm glad of that.
I know, but how many delays are we going to have then? That's what you've got to
Hopefully
think about.
0. Well, then again, it might help me get my hair washed quickly because I haven't washed my hair in a few days because obviously Mum's going away, getting less chance of there getting to be conditioner or shampoo, and me having to walk. So I'm going to have to wash my hair the night before.
Fair point.
I go to uni.
Fair point. Fair point. 11 laps to go then, up here, as the atmosphere builds, the tension rises. The warm-up lap is about to be underway here in India. So they'll head off for another lap around this 14-turn circuit. And away we go on the parade lap. And now, Megan, the atmosphere builds because Bezecchi wants to be into this very tight first corner first. We've done races here together, both in the F1 game, and you've commentated this track before. Probably you can't even remember it that much, but knowing your amazing memory. Back in 2013 as well.
I probably don't remember.
Yeah, but what do you reckon of it? Looking back, they've restored it quite well for MotoGP, but this is an abandoned F1 circuit brought back from the dead.
I remember it being very tight.
I remember this back straight being longer. It looks shorter now, but I can remember that
Maybe
back.
it's a camera angle.
It must be, because I remember that back straight being miles long.
Still looks pretty long.
And Aprilia's locked up and gone straight on as well. It's the longest back straight on the calendar as well. You can probably see how long it is on your deck here in the commentary box. Hang on, how many is it? It's a 3.113 mile circuit. Longest straight is 0.758 miles. That's 1,220 kilometres. Pole positions on the left-hand side. It's 12 metres wide. 8 right-hand corners, 5 left-hand corners. That's how long it is. Pit lane was open, so everyone got out of there okay, which is great news. Alex Marquez, though, double rib fracture. He's out this race and next weekend in Japan. Sorry about another early start. But 7. Yeah, there's a lot. But Alex Marquez, that's worse timing, especially as his brother was expected to be announced as owning the Granesi team and moving there next weekend in Japan.
That ain't good.
I can tell you're loving the delay, aren't you?
And I was thinking about tomorrow, so...
Hey, turn the heat off, otherwise your lead's going to bake. There we go then. You going to stand? It's lights out. So, first ever MotoGP race in India, the first ever sprint race in India. Also, crucially, the first World Championship race in India since Formula One were here 10 years ago in 2013. That day, Sebastian Vettel dominated and won the title. Can Marc Bezzecchi or Johan Martin take it away from Bagnaia standing in third? The top three in the championship are in polar opposite positions. It's the first ever Indian Grand Prix sprint race. All 5 lights are on. And finally, it is pull the throttle back. Bad start from Bagnaia once again. He had that in practice. Martin leads into turn 1. Bagnaia's on the inside. Oh, the two Mooney VR46 riders hit each other. Marini takes the back of Bagnaia. Multi-rider crash in turn 1. Paul Espargaro and Stefan Bradl down on the deck. And then was Marini locking up at the back. And that's put Bezzecchi in the back. 14. Yes, so it's Marini, Paul Espargaro and Bradl out. Marini locking up and taken out by Marco Bezzecchi. And it's Jorge Martin leading the way. Look at Binder already making up from the back, qualifying. He's up into 5th position as we approach the braking zone for turn 4. And Bagnaia in 2nd position, but surely we might get a red flag.
On the plus side, there's no jump starts.
Yep, so Paul Espargaro's walking away. He's okay. Bradl is okay. All riders look okay, but Marini came in way too hot. Tagged the back of Marco Bezzecchi, and Bezzecchi was looking not to go down, but that is the worst possible start that can happen.
I told you it was tight.
It was tight, and that's what we were worried about. There was a rider crash in the front, and there was Paul Espargaro and Stefan Bradl crashing at the back. Yellow's down the first sector, but a brilliant start from Brad Binder, up from 15th on the grid as well to 5th place. An amazing start from him. Marini and Bezzecchi. Marini's crashed out, and it was Bradl, Paul Espargaro. They've crashed out. They had a tangle with the Gusto Fernandez.
And Bezzecchi and Fernandez, they both just got away from it.
Look at Johan Mir. He is up into 3rd position. The 2020 world champion already looking like he's going to have a strong run around in this race, which is a surprise to me considering how much problems he's had here in the past. He's actually doing well and actually is flying well at the moment, Megan, which is good news for all of us watching here in MotoGP.
It is.
Oh, this should be a red flag. There's loads of debris in that first corner. I'm surprised the riders aren't putting their hands up saying, hello. Should be a stoppage.
They're prioritising picking up the bikes before they pick up the debris. That's
and there's riders there too. There's riders, there's still positions down the track because something's happening with our monitors up here in the commentary box.
Why is it so small?
I can't work it out to come through at the moment, but a brilliant start, Megan. As now look at this. Marini, that's Mir versus Marquez, and Marquez has passed Mir into turn 1. So they do make the move. They can make the move.
Yay!
Who was that running wide? I think that was Quartararo further back. Here's the start though, Megan. Talk us through it. Now look at the front with Marini and Bezzecchi.
if we look there, we can see both of them getting off to good starts, though it was Bezzecchi that went in front of Marini and caught him, and there was a separate incident at the back.
Yeah, so that was Paul Espargaro who went down ahead, and this is Marc Marquez getting a golden seat to the front. Mir was already up ahead. Mir was already past him brilliantly. But, hang on, Oliveira has been told to drop a position. So Oliveira has dropped back one position. Command from race control. Yellow flags down that first sector. So the marshals having a lot of trouble recovering those 3 bikes from turn number 1. I'm surprised they haven't put out a red flag, but I suppose they just can't delay it anymore. They want to just get this race over with.
I tell you what, Martin's prayers are being answered.
Yeah, what is he? 1.3 seconds ahead of Bagnaia. And don't forget, in the championship, this is great news. Is that the medical car with its lights on? It is.
Given Marini basically full-fronted into things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give him a medical car.
Oh, Marc Marquez locking up, and the medical car is actually coming out on the track, so there must be something down at turn 1 we're not seeing. Why there isn't a red flag, I don't know. Mia's been given a track limits warning already, so he's touched the curb 3 times.
You haven't seen Pole. He could have hurt his leg.
Well, Pole, interestingly enough, was down in the gravel, but he also had the Stefan Bradl's bike right on his back. It was sort of charging on the back of him towards
Probably
turn
a shoulder blade thing then.
That's what
He's
I was
only
thinking.
just got better.
Bezzecchi's been given a track limits warning as well. He has only just got better as
well. We know
well.
Bradl's okay because we saw him get up and walking away. But I think that Marini and Espargaro kind of got hit by the bikes.
Yeah, I think that too. So we'll keep an eye on it going forward. Yellow flag still in that first sector. It has been since the race started 2 laps ago as we come in towards turn 5 now through the long straight sort of kink that we never used to use in Formula 1. Alicia Espargaro track limits warning now as well. Jack Miller started 17th up to 7th. Not bad at all. What?
Why did... D'Antonio must be pack racing.
Yeah, it must be. Well, where is he is. Here he is. There's Fabio.
Yeah, because he just went down like 2 places. I thought, what?
Yeah, there's Fabio. He's been passed by Bezzecchi and by Oliveira. And Oliveira's been given a position back for overtaking under yellow flag. So he's got to give the position back to Bezzecchi and to D'Antonio. Here's the race start. This is on board with Marco Bezzecchi.
Let's look at further back this time to see what was going on there.
Well, you're going to see Bezzecchi cut across the front of Marini into turn 1, and then you're not going to really see much more.
But we can
there.
There.
Right, so it was Paul Espargaro.
They had a similar situation going on.
Right, so it's going to be right at the back of our picture frame. Here it is.
There.
So Paul comes across, Bradl brakes and just hits the back of Fernandez.
Yeah, it's the same. And they
catapult
into each other.
Exactly. And look, there's still a massive load of debris at turn 1 right off the racing line. I'm surprised that hasn't been cleared up. It's a long
shot under his bike.
Yeah, Morbidelli going a little bit too wide there as well. And Johan Mir's down.
Mir.
No, there he is. Mir into turn 3. He's gone down on the deck. Mir has crashed down.
Oh, he can easily come back up.
Marc Marquez did that in practice too this morning.
My.
And Mir's gone down and he's out.
Morbidelli.
17th.
Please don't do that. Please don't go round the outside of the rider.
Let's take a look at it.
Look at what he does.
Well, Morbidelli's 3 back, so there's Mir going through.
Yeah, but still, look what he's about to do.
So this is Franco Morbidelli.
Getting up.
Oh, yeah. Morbidelli goes right round the outside, and that's not wise at all. Good spot there, Megan. I didn't see that. So Morbidelli right round the outside of Johan Mir. And that's
Mir's can keep going.
Yeah, Mir, and also it's only a sprint race. He's got to hold that for tomorrow in the main race, where he's got to have a better command of it all. But this it's an interest. It's certainly showing the pitfalls of this track, isn't it? And how dangerous it is. And you've got to concentrate a lot. But it's fun.
I like the colour scheme of this track.
Yeah, I do. I always did. I liked this track. Yellow flag has finally been received at turn 1. It's been retrieved? Rescinded. Thank you, Megan. You tried being up more than 12 hours in the commentary. Well, 11 hours now in the commentary
I have
box.
before.
Yeah, it's not nice. I've got to go turn off the touring cars in a second as well. So I've got to leave you in control.
Oh?
Yeah.
How long for?
30 seconds, maybe more.
30 seconds of hell.
Look at Bagnaia running in P2, but look at Marc Marquez. Oh, bad. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt myself because Bagnaia just had a very interesting little run around at the last corner. He almost dropped it like Johan Mir for that first sector. He's having to push incredibly hard. And here comes Marc Marquez with a great exit out of turn 3 on the run down towards turn 4. Can he find the way through? And look at that. The gap is 0.5 of a second.
Antonio passes Nakagami
Not bad.
for 11th, finally. It's been brewing for a while, though I would really... They haven't shown us a Spargo and Bradl's crash, not really.
They've only shown us it from the back, haven't they? They haven't shown it from the front to
Why
change
are
it
they
over. I don't know.
choosing not to?
Well, we saw Paul walk away, didn't we?
No, we saw Bradle walk away.
No, did we? Yeah. We'll double check that and see. Well, if there's anything, we'll be told. But send it over. I'm going to run out for 30 seconds, so it's over to you.
Right, so let's think who's going to crash when Joshua's out. Right, so 7 laps to go. I don't know what Martin's doing. Just like I can see a overhead. I can see a camera view of him, and it looks like he was nodding to himself. Good to have reassurance. On board with Bezzecchi right now. He had a lucky escape earlier. You can also see an onboard for Bagnaia, though Bezzecchi wobbling a bit while he's trying to take over Fernandez. Can he do it? Going round at the inside. Ooh! He's just managed to do it, though Fernandez looks like he's trying to get his position back, though Bezzecchi has immediately blocked that.
You need to get that better. I can't get past you in that chair. That's what you get when you have 2 races on at the same time. Zarco's dropped back 3 places. What's up with it? Zarco crashed.
He's crashed.
Zarco's down
So
on the deck.
Zarco who
There
crashed.
he is. At turn 3. Zarco has crashed out from 7th position.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, he got it on
He's
his knee. He got it on his knee. So he's kicked it back up. That's perfect from Johan Zarco.
Ever since the first crash, we've been having quite simpler crashes. It's like ones where they can just get on with it.
He's crashed, but he's rejoined, and he's dropped back to 16th position as Michele Piro is going to sleep through on the inside line and get a nice little position. Well done. So, yeah, okay, not a bad race this turning out to be.
Love that rider okay. We can see that.
So he drops it, and then immediately picks it back up on his leg. Nicely done. 6 to go then here in the first ever Indian Grand Prix. And the sprint race, Martin leads it by 1.9 seconds to Pecco Bagnaia.
I wonder if tomorrow's race will prove to have the same amount of entertainment this is.
Well, it's got to, hasn't it? Because it's just been chaos throughout it all. Chaotic, beautiful fun. That's what we like to see about it all. As the racing continues on. Oh, Marquez twitching a little in the braking zone. Into the last corner at turn 14. There's Martin across the line. Problem is with the ground, it was wet. That's why we had a delayed start. The starting grid was still wet and it couldn't dry out because we've got a massive grandstand and the pit buildings sort of creates the only bit of shade on the circuit as Nakagami down 2 places. Zarco's into the pit, so Zarco is now out of the race. He picked it up on his bike, but he's gone. So unfortunately, he's out of the race. Understandably so, I'm afraid, which isn't fun at all. Because I was quite enjoying seeing him have a great battle and a great race, but it has changed the complexion once again.
Oh well.
Nakagami only went down 2 places, so I reckon he's just dropped it on the front and then picked it back up again.
Mia's doing something. Oh, Mia's out. Did anyone notice that?
I noticed, well, Mia, we said he crashed and he picked it back up and then got going, but now he's out again.
Does he not just want to pick it up to go to the pit lane or something?
Yeah, I think he's took it back to the pit lane. So Mia's out, Marini's out, Polaspargo's out, Bradle's out, and now Zarco's out. So 16 riders left. And remember, only 12 get points in a sprint race, so it is different. So that currently belongs to Aleix Espargaro. So weird.
Play Chipettes.
I've not got an idea. I've not got a clue
You
what we're
notice
going to see. Yeah?
how the colour scheme of the track is the only surviving cars, almost.
Yes. And also, you notice...
Bad fortune for the rest of the colours.
Do you remember when Sebastian Vettel did his donuts in 2013 when he won the title? They're still here. They're still on the track.
What?
They're still there.
Were they never cleaned?
They're there. They're still there now.
Were they never cleaned?
No. In fact, do you know Mercedes?
I'm sorry, so rain hasn't done anything to them.
The PR building, the PR room at this track, still has the Mercedes AMG Petronas board on it saying Team Principal Ross Brawn, as a senior director Toto Wolff, before he took over as Team Principal in 2014. Yeah. That's how. Oh, the track's has been ditched.
They didn't even have the time to clean up a couple donuts.
No, nothing at all. Can Marc Marquez take a podium in this race as Motorzone? Yes. He's holding on. What is it? Bronze medal. He's holding on Brad Binder. Turn 1 incidents to be reviewed after the race. So they are going to take a look at what happened, which I think is the only logical thing to do, to be fair, after the last things.
They'll be saying more than we did.
Yeah. Well, hopefully so, but the security at this track doesn't work, which is what we found out in practice 1 yesterday.
Why?
I don't know.
What happened?
The systems just don't work. The commentary boxes here have always been bad. First year the first year F1 came here, they were literally on the ground floor in a basement with no windows, a bit like this room right now.
Like they're being forced to commentate.
A bit like how this is. That's how they had to commentate on the track.
That's not bad.
In India with no aircon.
That is bad.
Yeah. But now, and up the inside, that's a nice little move. That's Binder getting ahead.
If it was someone like Norway, that would be fine. That would be actually the perfect commentary box.
It's Jack Miller being overtaken by Marco Bezzecchi. Yes, you're right. And then the next year, they moved them to them to the top floor, but in the PR building, right next to the toilets.
Well, at least it was easy access.
That's what everybody said. Yellow flag, sector 4.
Who's this?
Alicia Spargo. No!
Right, okay. Okay, the Espargros don't do good in India. Noted.
Alicia Spargo crashes out after the joys of Catalunya, the misery of Mazzano, and now it's the indefendable in India. I could just say bonkers in Bharat as well, which is what the country's... Yeah. Well,
destructible.
Destructible in India. Well,
impossible.
It's changing back to Bharat, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah. Because I think it was the Prime Minister or President. I don't know what they had.
The Prime Minister of India said, would you join
Bharat.
Yeah.
As what is Prime Minister or President of that. He just let go.
That had a brake failure. He just jumped off the bike.
Yeah.
So that had a brake failure. He just jumped it into the pit. He was trying to get into the pit lane. He just jumped.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
They're changing it to Bharat.
I'm sure we'll
I mean,
find out.
everyone's going to have to get a new globe.
Yes, it is as well, aren't we?
I love how that is probably what the world is annoyed at. Not that they're changing it to Bharat.
Globes.
Just like the globes. They'll be out of date.
Hey, there's one thing I just thought of as well. This could be the last ever. This could be the first ever MotoGP Indian Grand Prix and the last ever Indian MotoGP.
I'm going to check up on how that globe thing is. I mean, that name thing is going.
Yep. Wow, I looked at it earlier on and it seemed okay. Brad Binder, 33, going to be third, says Mugi as well. Could be the case. Marco Bezzecchi's at the fastest sector times at the moment, so they are finding the deltas and finding the times they need to. 2 laps to go then in the Tissot sprint race here in India, or Bharat, or whatever part of the world you want to call it. We're actually in New Delhi, if you want to be technical about it. As round the outside, that's Binder trying to make a move. I thought he almost dropped it as well. The lean angle was so steep coming out of turn 3. And that KTM, I was not worried at all about how badly they qualified, because I know how good that KTM is at starting, and it started incredibly well. As they come into the braking zone for turn 4 on the inside, Marc Marquez still holding out for third. Brad Binder closing him down. I think the top 2 in this race are sorted. So, Megan, the question to you is, as you're looking still, can Bagnaia win tomorrow, or is it going to be Bezzecchi v Martin? Because Bezzecchi only got taken out because of Mia.
Possibly. I think possibly. I think it's still going to be called India.
Wow, there's a Google translation.
Because the Hindi name for India is Bharat.
Yes.
You're probably just talking in Hindi, and everyone else has taken that as,
yeah.
Oh, they're changing it to this name.
Well, Bharat is actually the historical name for India.
Exactly.
The English translated it to India. Yeah. So, yeah. Maybe they're just going back to a translation of it.
Maybe they're just like, do you know what? We're not going to translate this for you lot anymore. Just like, if you want to know what Bharat is, learn Hindi.
To be fair, I like it. It's going back to be traditionalist as well. I like it a lot. As long as we can go back...
Don't do that.
If we can go back to Roman Britain. Just so, because people are, what was it? How long do you think about the Roman Empire? I have no idea what that means. Do you?
Think more about the Greeks.
I have no idea. Last lap, McCall.
Yeah, everyone's asking men, like, how much do you think about the Roman Empire? I probably think about the Roman Empire more than you do. It's just the actual Roman Empire.
I think more about motor racing as well and talking to friends. And I don't really have time to think about Roman emperors.
I think about the Roman Empire more than you do. But I think about Greeks much more.
I know, it's so weird. But anyway, we've got a move going on here. Marco Bezzecchi to the inside of Fabio Quartararo on the run down towards turn 4. Bezzecchi on the inside line. It's late on the brakes, gets ahead. Quartararo tries to hold it around the outside, can't do anything. And Megan, the gap that was 66 points, look at that now between Martin and Bagnaia. 33 points with still more than, 8-9 races to go. This championship is on. It's on, isn't it? It's the reverse of what happened last year with Bagnaia closing down Quartararo.
It is very close.
Well, this race has delivered. It's been a quiet one. Certainly been dramatic. Wonder what we're going to see tomorrow with all the drama for this 2023 Indian Grand Prix. Johan Martin is about to be a 3-time sprint winner. And he's already a 3-time Grand Prix winner. Can he take it to go forward as well? As they switch in. I know, Craig, more commentary on the race, but there's nothing happening. Into the last corner.
You give it a go.
Jorge Martin has done the domination. He's gone looking. He does the wheelie across the line. Woo-hoo. He shakes his head across the line. He just wins to Bagnaia. Jorge Martin claims the first blood here at the Bud International Circuit. He moves the championship into 33 points. It's striking distance for the World Championship. Bagnaia takes second. Third for Marc Marquez. A podium in a sprint race for Marc Marquez. Honda said they liked this track, and it's certainly delivering. A
really well
brilliant race. Brilliant race, Megan.
His prayers really were answered.
They really were. Yeah. But it's just so sad that he's going to announce that he's moving to Grenesi on the Ducati bike next year at the Japanese Grand Prix. So that could be Mark's last podium with the team.
Well, at least he got it done.
And in a sprint race, which is weird.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. Are you leaving? Yeah. All right, bye-bye. What do you think of the sprint?
I thought it works in India.
It's a bit quiet, though. Not the most dramatic we've ever had.
Yeah, it was like the perfect balance of drama.
Look at the championship, though. 33 points. Bagnaia, 292. Martin, 259. Tomorrow, 25 points on offer. Bagnaia goes down. Title's on.
Bagnaia, he will go down.
All right. Cheers, mates. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So Megan disappears. Actually, let's take a look at a replay here. We'll see. Bye-bye. What's this about? Bagnaia, handshake with Mark. And a thumbs up and a handshake. The top three congratulating each other. Not bad at all. What happened to Luca Marini? Locked up into turn 1, tagged the back of his teammate Bezzecchi and went down. Bezzecchi continued on and fought back to 5th. Great time there. Let's see what TNT thought of it all.
You know, since Valentino Rossi hung up his boots, he's the one that puts bums in seats, especially in this part of the world.
Yeah, it's so popular. All the posters. Everywhere you go.
Apart from the ones with Joe and Zarco on.
It's all about, yeah, that made us laugh, didn't it?
Well, Pecco Bagnaia, you have to say...
Damage limitation.
It hasn't looked right at one point this weekend, has it?
If you'd have said to him yesterday, you'll be second in the sprint race, ideally he would not want to be behind this man, but he would have definitely taken it, I'd say.
The photographers are going to be loving
this would be a good shot.
What they've seen.
What a beautiful shot out of the last corner. The bike's in its lower position, yanks it up, a stylish control wheelie. Well done, that man.
That's a good shot, isn't it, of a decent crowd. Hopefully they pour in tomorrow for the Grand Prix.
It's supposed to be a sellout. According to Sylvain Guintoli, who tried to buy some tickets yesterday.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The proof of the pudding will be in seeing them through the gate tomorrow. As you can see, that grandstand needs more people in it. But, you know, we need to come here, first of all, don't we? We need to get racing here. And hopefully we can build the appetite, maybe lower the prices, get it packed. We've seen it work in places like Malaysia, where Thailand, they pack the grandstands and you can't buy a ticket there for love nor money.
Yeah, Le Mans, they've got the prices right, haven't they? And the atmosphere is incredible, and everyone wins.
And everyone wants to go there. Everyone wants to be a part of it. And in a country of 1.5 billion, just in the Delhi metropolitan area alone, there's 33 million people. You know, you can just get hold of a few of them, and it's massive for the sport.
I'll tell you what.
And how many of them have motorcycles?
Everyone, pretty much. It seems. I bet Marc Marquez wouldn't have thought, having stood on the podium in that first sprint race of the year, that his second one would come in India.
No, because he was on it all weekend, actually.
He was.
Paolo Campinotti down there celebrates. Frankie Morbidelli giving Paolo the respect for bringing him into the fold next year, saying he's been the man who's made it happen. Marco Bezzecchi, frustration for him. Oh, he's unhappy, isn't he?
So down to 17th at the end of the first lap.
Great comeback.
First corner incident. Let's have a look at it again, halfway through the incident.
Well, this is the pass on Quartararo.
Yeah, unfortunately, Quartararo just ends up a bit close to that white line, and you're then concerned about moisture, so you have to release a bit of brake. You can't be as aggressive, and that's what we saw. He had to go slightly wide.
Look, seeing Quartararo up there, Marquez up there, alongside the top four in the championship, just shows their natural talent. And I think we're going to hear from Marc Marquez. Got George Viegas down there.
He is,
hopefully.
Mark.
Simon Crafar down there, yeah.
Great qualifying, which gave you the position to launch the attack, and what a ride in the sprint. How hard was that?
Yeah, honestly, super happy. But I know that in a single lap, in a whole lap, I was fast, but always behind somebody. But for me, what surprised me more on the race that in the beginning I was struggling, but then in the end, the rhythm was not bad. Alone, because Pecco was very far, and yeah, happy. I would like to be always on that level, but this year has been very difficult. But as you see, my compromise is the same one, and I keep pushing until the end.
Great ride, congratulations.
You can't argue with him. We saw Sachsenring, we see that he's generally always been pushing if the bike's underneath him. He'll be pleased he's got back ahead of Danny Pedrosa in the championship.
Oh, wow. That's incredible, isn't it? Yeah, just the 38 points. Pedrosa's on 32.
Yeah, he's now top Honda in the championship ahead of Taka Nakagami.
I'm loving the Indian-inspired helmet Mark's been wearing this weekend. Looks very cool. Looks even cooler in real life.
Yeah, it's sort of got a bit of matte,
a bit of sparkle
in it.
Yeah.
We like a bit of sparkle.
A little bit of that metal flake.
Yeah.
Retro. Cool.
Brad Binder did what we expected, didn't he? Look at that first lap. Well, lap 3 up to 5th, but it was pretty much all on the first lap.
Yeah, rock solid performance.
He shouldn't have been down in 13th. He just missed out a couple of times. Yellow flags, his bane this weekend. Let's hear from the championship leader, Pecco Bagnaia.
Another great result at this time at a new circuit. How do you feel about your ride today?
We were just very lucky that the conditions were better on the sprint race, but I'm enjoying this circuit. The layout is so nice, and we did, for me, a really good race for the situation we are. We have to improve for tomorrow, but finishing second today was the maximum for sure, and we had to be happy with it.
Congratulations.
Realistic, as always, Pecco. We'll crunch the numbers, won't he, overnight? Neil, do you think it will be enough to overcome Martin on Sunday, or even Bezzecchi?
I don't think so. I just don't quite think so. And I think it could be one of those weekends where he'll be aware of that. Don't get me wrong, he'll be, like you said, he'll crunch the numbers, he'll look at the data, and he'll give everything he can tomorrow, but it could be one of those championship rides tomorrow where he doesn't do anything silly, brings home a podium, and then off to Japan we go.
Jorge, you mentioned last night that you liked the circuit. Watching you out there, it really looked like you did.
Yeah, you know, it was a tricky day because it was really stressful because the conditions was hard in the last practice before the race. It was quite complicated, but you know, I understood quite well the track, and then straight away I started quite well. I started to put a good pace on the track, and then try to control the gap between me and Pecco, trying to understand some info for tomorrow also that will be important. So feeling comfortable. Tomorrow will be a tough one with maybe Bezzecchi had some bad luck today, but he will be so strong tomorrow.
Great job. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done to Jorge Martin, but I think he's right there. Marco Bezzecchi is going to be involved in that battle on Sunday. That's what we need, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Look how he uses his body. I love watching him. He just gets into the corner and then he just throws his head off, and all that is to try to help the bike turn, to help him stand that bike up so he's not on the edge of the tyre. And as you can see by that shot, he's not afraid to lean it over.
Yeah, sometimes the feeling is that those hanging off like that are leaning the bike more. Often it's the opposite.
It's the
case,
opposite,
isn't it?
yeah.
The bike can actually be a little bit off the edge of the tyre that bit more. It's easily misconceived, isn't it? When you're getting your shoulder down like he will on occasion. So, Tissot's guest will Vijay Singh there, not the golfer clearly, will be handing out the trophy to Marc Marquez. Listen to the applause from the fans. His first medal since that opening round back in Portimao. How things have changed for him over the last 5 or 6 months. So the sponsors, marketing director, hands over the silver medal to Pecco Bagnaia. That's his 11th sprint podium out of 13. What a season he's putting together. And some people didn't like the idea of the sprints. Pecco Bagnaia relishes them now. But Jorge Martin, now with his 4th sprint win, the same number actually as Bagnaia on a Saturday. And it closes the gap between them to 33 points, with still so many more on offer. With the Grand Prix to come tomorrow and another 7 races, Jorge Martin.
It's champagne time! And the riders get out there with all the excitement. What a race, what a day for it. Martin from Bagnaia, Marc Marquez, Binder, Bezzecchi, Quadraro, Miller, Vinales, Ralph Fernandez, Di Antonio, Augusto Fernandez, Oliveira at the points. Then Nakagami, Pirro, Morbidelli, Aleix Espargaro was out. Then we get Zarco, Mia, Marini, Paul Espargaro and Prado all out. Well, my thanks to all of you for watching. It's been absolutely cracking. Once again, we'll be live for the race tomorrow as well. The warm-up session will come to you later on in the day as just an upload, so you can catch up on it if you want to do the whole weekend. We won't be showing that live because we'll be commentating on the Formula One Grand Prix of Japan as well. Next up, touring cars and their qualifying session from Silverstone as well for the British Touring Car Championship. And thanks to all of you for watching the sprint race. Take care. Bye-bye.